Hello YouTube, this is Chester from Statement PKs. Welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to continue where we left off in the last tutorial. As you remember, in the last tutorial I showed you how to create a React Native application that is able to scan ports in your network. And I show you how to do that, and it shows the logs and all that good stuff. If you haven't watched my tutorial, go and watch it, because this one builds on my last tutorial. As you can see, we added that one. Now we're adding the AirPlay device scanner, which is going to be looking for vulnerabilities in our network AirPlay devices. So the way it works is basically very similar to the port scanner. You click on it, you're able to hide info. You can tweak that and make it, put anything you want in there. You can hide it. You can also show the logs or hide the logs. And here it will tell you, for example, in the port scanner would give you the address, the IP address for my for the phone, which is, this is an emulator, so it's actually that's for the computer, for the Mac. And it's going to tell you whether it's connected or Wi-Fi. Yes. AirPlay, same thing, but it's not connected, it's not Wi-Fi. We're going to start the network scan now. And when we click on the network scan, it's going to start scanning. And the way it's going to scan is, as you can see, it threw an error first here. It's an NSNet, and we're going to talk about that in 1 minute. But as you can see, starts with the 193. This is the mask, the gateway, which is the router. It starts an mDNS scan, and we're going to talk about mDNS now in 1 second. And then starts also an IP scan, and it goes to priority addresses. I added those addresses because those are for development. You can change them. You can reduce the amount of priority addresses. You can include more. But for debugging purposes, those were the ones that I was using. And it will continue into the range. It's going to scan all 14 priority addresses. Like I said, you can reduce them. And it's going to, once it does all of them, it's going to start scanning by batches. The reason it's doing batches is just to be more efficient. So it's going to do batch 1, batch 2, batch 3, and so on. And it's going through the whole range looking for, and I think it's done. And it found one, and that's the same device. It's an AirPlay device. I think that's the Roku upstairs. I think that's what that is. So this is what it does. And if you watch a couple tutorials that I did ago, you will see that I brought the programming logic from that app, and if you go to my GitHub, you will find it there. And I just brought it into here, because we're creating more of a whole network security toolkit. So it's going to have the port scanning, the device, and then we're going to do Chromecast next, and probably Bluetooth afterwards. And then we can add more. But I just wanted to show you, because now, before we dive into the code and start talking about the code here that to make that possible, I need to talk a little bit about this guy right here, zeroconf, and the libraries that we're bringing. Don't worry about that's just a regular TypeScript error. And that library that is using the mDNS protocol, otherwise called RFC 6762, and it's this protocol right here, the multicast DNS. Multicast DNS, think of it as the equivalent of the domain name system DNS, unicast DNS. And let me just show you. If you open in your network, whether you're using Google, whether you're using whether you're using Windows, Linux, or in my case, a Mac, you can go into your network and you will see certain details. And for example, in my case, you have your TCP IP, which is the DHCP. This is what gives you the leases for the IP addresses, and this is the router 192.168.0.1. That's the gateway, default gateway, and this is the address of my particular computer. That's the mask right here. Well, DNS are these guys. And in your case, if you check, you more likely are going to have either 192.168.0.1 in there, or you might have a Google server, 8888, a DNS from Google. In my case, I have 1111, which is Cloudflare. And let me show you the difference, because this is DNS. And when you think of DNS, think globally. When you think of mDNS, think locally. And it's a big difference, and I will show you what I mean by that. For example, when you do, let me see the easiest way to explain. When you do a Wireshark, for example, in use a packet analyzer like Wireshark, and you run, you're going to see your whole network, right? You're going to see ARP, does the TV, smart TV, asking who has that address. That's the router asking about this guy, right? Then you have the UDP, you have, but then you're gonna have mDNS here. And you're probably going to have, I don't see it here because I don't have a website open, but I do. But let me just open another one so you'll see. Let's use a sudo tcpdump verbose into this. If you do ifconfig, this will let you know where that is. Let me just do it so you know where I'm getting these from. So if you do in Windows, you do ipconfig, right? In Linux and Mac, you use ifconfig, and it's going to give you all this stuff on your network, right? This is a loopback. This is not the one that I'm looking for. The one that I want is this one right here. And this is the one for my computer. So you can see 123 and the MAC address and all that good stuff. So basically what I'm doing is I'm listening on this particular address or port on that address. Think of it that way. So that's what I'm doing. So now when I enter that command, again, is this one, I'm going to be listening on port 53 on that particular address. So I hit enter. I'm going to ask for my password. And then it's going to start listening. And then if I open a website, let's say that I just open a regular website, let's do internal and just whatever, it doesn't matter. Where's my refund, pay, file, forms and instructions? I just want to create something, right? So I go back into my, look at all that. All of a sudden, look at the difference. Let me just clear this for now. So the difference is, and I will show you mDNS in 1 second, but the difference is that every time you make a connection or an exchange is from my computer into the DNS. You see 1.1.1 domain, that's the Cloudflare domain. So it's going through Cloudflare to get to the outside. It's resolving the host name into an IP address. This is basically what it's doing. When I enter irs.gov, is resolving that into an IP address, and then that IP address, it finds that IP address through in my case Cloudflare, and then it gives me the IP address that I wanted. So in this case, where is it? It's here somewhere. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because this is global. This is to go outside, out of your computer, into the world, into the internet out there. And you will see, if I stay longer, you're going to see some of the where is it again? I'm trying to look for one here. Oh, here it is. You see, this is not 192.168 anymore. This is outside. I think that's for Google. And that, you can tell that is outside, right? So it's globally. Okay, now let's run the same command, but instead of using DNS, we're going to use mDNS. So I'll just stop this one. And instead of saying same EN0 port, but instead of port 53, which is unicast DNS, I'm going to use 5353, which is the mDNS, multicast DNS. So I just hit enter. And before I do that, let me just clear it, not to confuse you. And now you're gonna see a lot more stuff going on. That's just on that particular port, but look at that. Because these are not websites, these are not servers, these are actually devices on my network. And that's what we're doing with my app here. We're looking for these devices right here. So the difference between is that when you, instead of going through Cloudflare and 1111 like I showed you before, now I'm just going directly resolving locally into that device. And you can see the communication becomes between the source and the device. And you can see it says local, TCP local. You can see local, local, TCP local, TCP local, because this is all local, it's not global. And that's the difference. And you're going to see all the devices. These are all devices that are on my network. Okay, listening devices. Let me just stop it for now. It's too much stuff. So, but some of them are like that's a laptop. That's I recognize some of them. This is that's ear headset. That's some of them I can tell, some of them I forgot what they are, but you can see it has the TTL, and it's got the what else? What am I looking for here? I was trying to look for 185 if I can show you. Well, okay, but you get the idea. This basically what's happening is it's a huge difference between local and global. So always remember, when we're dealing with mDNS, we're dealing locally. When we're using DNS or unicast DNS, that is global. We're in this application is interested in local, so it's dealing with mDNS. And in order to use the mDNS protocol on this particular application, we need this, and that's where zeroconf comes in, because we're going to be bringing zeroconf in order to get the mDNS, and we're also using other libraries, and you'll see them. We will explore that in more detail in the next tutorial, where we'll go into the code itself, and I'll show you the scanning and the functions and all that good stuff. But I just wanted to cover that, because we're going to start talking about zero-conf mDNS, and I didn't want to overwhelm you and start talking about that stuff before explaining what they are. And in the next tutorial we'll get into the code, but this is the end of this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, please click the like box, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time in the next tutorial. Take care.